Alright, hi Simple Suppers families, my name is Ashley and I'm a graduate student at OSU helping with the Simple Suppers program. And today I am going to show you how to make our pancakes and veggie scrambled eggs. So before you begin, you will want to collect all of your ingredients. You'll need to have your vanilla yogurt, eggs, milk, some salt, green pepper, red bell pepper, broccoli, an onion, some cheese for the eggs, blueberries and strawberries, oil, brown sugar, flour, and then you'll also need some baking powder, garlic powder, and black pepper. The first thing that I always like to do when I cook is make sure to have all of my produce cut and ready to go. That way, when I'm in the kitchen and I'm in the middle of actually cooking, it just is you throw it in there. So I'm going to move my bowls out of the way and my lovely grater. And I'm going to take my knife, put it over to the side, making sure that the blade is pointing away from me. And then I'm going to take my cutting board and have it front. I'm going to start with the broccoli. And I'm just going to start cutting it up. Making sure that I also am keeping my fingertips curled in to avoid any type of accidental cutting. So just cut it up. So peppers are typically really hard to cut, but I like to make it so that you always have a flat surface when you're cutting them. So you make your first cut and then you just lay it flat and just churn your pepper as you're cutting it. And then that way you get all of the pepper without having to balance it or anything. And then next we're going to start with making our pancakes, because you can make your pancakes and then hold them at a warmer temperature so that they stay warm, and it's easier than making the eggs and keeping those warm without overcooking them. So we'll start with our pancakes. You need a bowl. You'll need your measuring spoons and measuring cups. And also, you'll need your recipe. Can't forget that. Okay. Fold it up so that I know what I'm doing. First, you need, 1¼ cup of whole wheat flour. So we're going to take our flour. Okay, so this is a half measuring cup, and the recipe calls for 1¼ cup. So I'm going to do this one twice, and then I also have a 4th cup, and I'll do that once. Next, for our dry ingredients, we're going to add the baking powder, and it calls for 1 3/4 teaspoons of baking powder. So let's see, 1 3/4, that's a tablespoon. Put this out of the way. Then we need 1/8 of a teaspoon of salt. I don't have an 1/8 of a teaspoon, so I'm just going to use half of the 1/4. Now for the wet ingredients, we need to measure out 1 1/4 cups of skim milk. So make sure you put the skim milk in before you put anything else in. Let's see. and I forgot to add the brown sugar. No one doesn't want an unsweet pancake. That's no good. So we're gonna add 2.5 teaspoons of brown sugar. Got really aggressive on that. Now we're just gonna mix this all together. And we're gonna mix it until it's just combined. It will still be a little lumpy at the end. Okay, now I'm going to assemble the egg mixture. So for the recipe, it calls for 5 eggs. So I'm going to crack all the eggs, make less of a mess. I normally just like to crack in the bowl. And it calls for 1/8 of a teaspoon. Oh my gosh. So again, I only have the 1/4, but I'm just gonna fill it a half. So this is salt. Close enough. Okay. So now I'm gonna add about 1/8 of a teaspoon of black pepper. So again, about 1/2 of a 4. Dump that in. And then our last ingredient will be garlic powder, and again, 1/8 of this. So I just use a fork and just break the yolks. So now that I have my egg mixture done, I'm going to grate the cheese, and then that way, once the eggs are close to being done, I can just throw the cheese in, and I won't overcook my eggs, and the cheese will melt. So this is just a block of cheese, regular cheddar cheese, and I'm just going to grate about 1/3 of a cup. And now that is ready to go for when I cook my eggs. Okay, now I'm going to demonstrate how to make a pancake. So I have my batter, and this recipe calls to use a 1/4 cup to measure and then pour onto your griddle or your flat pan to cook it on. So this has already been pre-greased, so it's ready to go. And so I'm just gonna measure it out and make a pancake. And so we're just gonna wait until the bubbles start coming up and they start to pop. That way we'll know that it's cooked on the bottom, and then we can flip it. Okay, so now the pancakes are starting to bubble, so I'm just gonna go and flip them. Ooh, they're nice and red. And now we wait. Check them. Look like they're getting close. Yeah, these are done. So I'm going to put them on my plate. Pancakes. Ooh, it's steamy. Ooh, they're steamy. Okay. Okay, now that I've finished the pancakes, I'm going to start with the eggs. So to save time and to not have to wash as many dishes, I like to use the same pan. So this is already preheated from the pancakes. I went in and I put a little bit of oil because we'll be throwing in the vegetables. So I put all the vegetables in one container. So I'm just going to dump them in. And we're going to start to cook them down until they start getting soft. That way you're not eating raw vegetables in your eggs. So I have been sauteing my vegetables for about 5 minutes. They look pretty soft. Just make sure you cook them down so that they're not like too hard, but they're also not too soft. And now that I've done that, I'm going to add my egg mixture that I've made from before. So again, this is the 5 eggs with the pepper, salt, and garlic. I'm just going to pour it right into my skillet. Get all that good egg in there. Put that right here. I'm just going to mix it up all together. So it's starting to come together now. So I'm going to throw in a quarter cup of cheddar cheese that I had shredded earlier. It's all in there. And we're just going to mix it all together. And it looks delicious, not gonna lie. Okay, I don't want to overcook it, so. Alright. Looks delicious. Alright. Alright, and now here are the final products. This is the adult portion of the egg and veggies with the pancakes and the fruit and yogurt on top. And then here is the child portion with the same exact